Alright guys, it's Cheyenne here, and I am going to talk about some pretty intense stuff regarding mindset, psychology, speech, and fluency, and I am going to talk about the secret lever which will allow me to gain progress and actually advance in my life through self-improvement, which simply means like you go to the gym and you work out and your muscles get larger. That's all that means. So that you're improving at something. For me, the secret lever is self-love or self-esteem or self-worth. Now, I never knew that was a thing until I quieted the noise in my life. Turned off all the shows, turned off all the music. I just got really quiet, and I really try to feel the emotions that are coming instead of to try to cover them up. I just try really hard, and this is a practice to do, to sit there and to feel them. And so the way that I found out that I really did not love myself was I could barely watch myself speak on camera. And I was like, what is wrong, dude? Like, you can't just like watch yourself. And then I just kind of got quieter and quieter, and I did more digging, and I was like, okay, I kind of see kind of where it comes from or all that, whatever. And I was like, okay. And then once I could see where I was on the self-worth meter, quote unquote, I then had enough self-awareness to be like, all right, you actually don't really love yourself. So whenever I was practicing, it wasn't truthful practice, because really on the inside I was like, yeah, you suck, it's never gonna work out, like, you stink. And so there was a constant repeating voice in my head that was just very, very, very negative. And I know all this sounds so cliche. And then it's kind of turned into how to genuinely ease the feeling is center to more gratitude and thankfulness and positive emotions, to chase more of the positive emotions instead of chasing the negative emotions. And you guys can kind of figure that out. But so literally stopping at the crossroads of every single event in my life and saying, will this produce more positive emotions for me, or will this produce more negative emotions for me? Just totally trying to stay super unbiased. And I know all this sounds really cliche, and it takes a lot of practice, and it takes a lot of me actually talking to myself and saying, hey, like, you know how they say they had to talk him off the cliff or whatever, like, he's like, oh, you're like, your thoughts and your internal voices being kind of irrational, like it's kind of a figure of speech in America. Well, for me, I consistently have to talk myself, so literally talking to myself. I talk to myself off the cliff. I'm like, all right, not that big of a deal. Let's take a deep breath to chill out. Nobody's gonna die. Let's do some jumping jacks. Let's just chill out. Calm down, buddy. It's gonna be okay. Just hang in there with me. I promise. It's all gonna be okay. So just stuff like that, or sometimes it'll be more like, come on, dude, like, let's go, you got this, bro, like, all this stuff, that you've overcome and you've accomplished already, like, you can totally crush this. And just a genuine desire to just not forcefully, but genuine, gradual the navigation of the emotional center with it being a constant practice that is just kind of like never ending kind of thing. So I'm here for the long haul. This is my new normal. I'm not going anywhere. I'm sticking it out. And I'm just gonna stay just kind of in the same kind of emotional home for as long as possible with the intention of staying out of flight or fight mode. And so, long story short, the more I pull the self-love, the lever, and try to just ease it into the other direction using some techniques and that kind of stuff. And the more that I stay in the fight and I do things that show myself that I love myself, like I go to the gym, and it doesn't have to be spending a ton of money on myself. It's just doing what I tell myself I'm gonna do, just eating stuff that only has one ingredient on it, just like stuff that we're already supposed to be doing, but I got a little bit washed up in the worldly stuff, so just trying to reattach all my parts kind of thing. So it's not like spending like, oh, I have to go on a cruise. No, just waking up early, doing a cold shower, a little meditation, staying consistent with it, not making a big deal out of it, and just kind of easing along, kind of one thing after the other each day. And gradually, as I've moved the self-love meter a little bit more and more to the positive side, I have in turn noticed that inherently my speaking is improving, my life is improving, my relationships are improving, all the cliches. So for me, that's just my personal experience with trying to identify how I see my self. Like, if I just put a picture up of my self, what emotions stir immediately without me even starting a thought process? What's the first emotion? And when I first watched myself speaking on video, I felt sick to my stomach, and I was like, this is no bueno, dude. Like, this whole dealio that's happening here is just, we're getting kind of tired of it. It's not fun anymore. Let's try to find a new way. And then I said, okay, well, if you don't love yourself and you're trying to like improve yourself, it's kind of like oxymoronic, because you're trying to help something you hate, so inherently, subconsciously, you don't really want that thing to succeed, but then you're trying to do a little play on the cover, like, oh, I did my meditation, I did my workouts, but you didn't really give it 100% of your authenticity, because in the back of your mind, you're like, you're never going to be ripped, you're never going to be fluent, you're never going to, whatever you want to put there. And so until I pinpointed that stupid recording in my head saying, oh, hold up a second, I didn't even really know you were in there, dude. And that's not really nice. That's not nice. Be nice to selfie. Be nice, because if you're not nice to yourself, then who's going to be nice to you? Nobody. Aha, so I have to be my own best friend first, because no one's going to want to hang out with me if I don't even want to hang out with myself. But then I complain, and then I just keep in this little circle. Well, how do I stop the circle? I need to get quiet every day and say, okay, what are you feeling right now? Let's logic your way through this. You don't need to be feeling that kind of way. Let's do a little picture of your life. Let's kind of, come on, let's talk it out. Let's talk it out. Let's talk it out. And then once I talk it out myself, I'm like, all right, really not that bad. I can make a little improvement today. Let's give it the best shot I got. Let's put a smile on and let's keep moving forward. All right, guys. That is my little chat on my secrets lever to how I am able to slowly and consistently make advancements in my life. Stay on the path, guys. Peace.